Alright, y'all. We want to know what's happening with Anubis and finally discover what happened to our beautiful brother before he was murdered in cold blood. So let's see. Season 3, Episode 2, Song of the Crimson Nile. The first payment will be fear. I just have to know what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. So let's just immediately see this. Episode 2, The Test of Fear. Warning, this episode contains scenes of violence and child abuse. Oh god damn it, not them actually making us, review our childhood. Eamon stared at Set without blinking. He kept his expression impassive and didn't show his dismay at the realization that his wildest guess turned out to be correct. It was almost impossible to believe that the strongest of the gods was walking among mortals. Eamon could have assumed that Set was a mercenary, the leader of the Dark Magicians, or the founder of a secret society. He could have been anyone. But the idea that he was the very god who had killed his own brother, defeated the serpent Apep, and defended Egypt thousands of years earlier seemed absurd. Oh yeah, he's thousands of years old. Even his name didn't necessarily mean much. Parents gave their children all sorts of monikers, or he could have given it to himself as a follower of the Sheshmu's patron. Neith, the weaver, was named after a goddess after all. Set was too uninhibited and human to instantly recognize him as a god. But it turned out to be simpler and more difficult at the same time. That was a reason Set had started wandering among the mortals and even used their help to achieve his goal. Had their world really fallen so low? What kind of trouble had forced one of the most powerful creatures that ever existed to live as a man among humans? Why? That was the question that fueled all the doubts Eamon didn't want to speak out loud, and Eva didn't seem keen on sharing who Set was either. The source of her fear was obvious. To incur Set's wrath was to seek death. Eva's death, the mortal whom he was protecting for some reason. Why did he need her? To help him get to Saemon? Honestly, I think that he always had a soft spot for us because of what happened to us in the past. So this man, he doesn't love us, especially since I'm on the Eamon route. He doesn't love us, but he does have a soft spot for us because of all the trauma. If he had once served Set, managed to escape, and even hid so well that the god himself hadn't managed to find him yet, Eamon certainly wasn't going to be able to do that. Did you plan on hiding from him, Eamon? That's what Set had been talking about. They couldn't succeed on their own, and as long as there was no conflict of interest, there was no reason they should fight among themselves. Why should I attack you, brother Slayer? Cain! This actually reminds me of the story of Cain. Cain killing his brother, damn. Although Egypt is full of stories about how dreadful you are, I don't know who you used to be. I don't know who used to protect people and gods, who used to keep the peace. Set raised his eyebrows and drawled. Is it so? Is their fighting spirit completely extinguished? Eamon tried to remain calm, although the thought that he was talking to Set himself made him feel almost in awe. The awe any Egyptian would have felt if they had found themselves standing before a god someone people revered since birth and even after death. Worshipping the gods was the foundation of Egyptian culture. People feared them, but praised even the worst of them. Eamon believed in them, but seldom visited the priests' temple services. It was the subject of gossip in the settlement. But those were just rumors. No one dared to accuse him of anything. Few people, if any, knew what was going on inside the apostate's head. You knew I was going to attack you. How could it be otherwise? When we first met, you made it clear you weren't a friend. You could have explained everything right away, but you willingly accepted the fight. Because you craved a confrontation, your fighting spirit was no less than mine. Technically I did play dirty, so this man was kind of also defending his own honor. I see no fear in the episode's eyes, but I don't see any rage either. I think it's confusion. Because he wants to understand. This man is all logic at this point. Of course, he got lost in his Delulu land when it came to Sheshmu, but now in general, like, especially when it comes, like, planning, like, he is a logical guy, like, planning everything out to the perfect, because he can't allow himself to make any mistakes. So this man actually accepting the fight and everything makes this man be extremely... It's shocking him. Because he doesn't understand why he would actually allow himself to get beat up. He has the power to stop him. He's up to something. Aemon knows who's standing before him. He won't do anything foolish. I have no idea what he's thinking. I don't think he's up to something. But even if he would be, he wouldn't do anything foolish, like, without actually knowing that there is, like, a chance of him surviving. Like, he's not alone here. He's a good leader. He knows that if he attacks, he'll be dead in a second. Before coming down here, he and Set agreed on a truce. Therefore, despite the fact that Aemon has discovered the truth, this doesn't change our plans. I can see it in his eyes. He's thinking the same thing. Honesty. I wanted to know what you like in combat when you're seething with rage. I thought you were the leader of the Dark Magicians, the one behind the disease. That you were forcing Eva to do all sorts of things. That's why I attacked you. He was defending his woman. He literally just said that. I thought you were forcing Eva to do all sorts of things. That means also things that we're not okay with. It was not about rage. If I had known who you were, I wouldn't have laid a finger on you. Damn, this man was defending his wife. The hunter bowed his head and added smoothly, I've read Papyria's old as the pyramids. Once you were revered and loved by everyone. Set was surprised to hear that. No one had recalled those glorious days in a very long time. The days when the red-haired god had been at the peak of his power, fueled by human love. The current pharaoh trained you poorly, Hunter. Is that what they teach you these days? I'm an evil god who only brings destruction and protects the most ruthless dark magicians. The apostate's voice was laced with contempt. The pharaoh didn't train me. I'm not doing my job out of love for him. Livius opened his mouth slightly. Do you have no fear, apostates? How can you doubt the embodiment of God on this earth? Had you said that on a busy street, you would have been thrown into a torture chamber with no regard for your position. Livius, he is not having it. Aemon turned to Livius and chuckled. The fuck is going on? I know who I'm talking to. Any pharaoh is his enemy, since they're protected by Horus. My words will hardly anger him. Set said, bitch, what? Set's face changed when he heard that name. Horus? What is that name? He and Horus went back a long way. The son of Osiris, whom Set had killed, later avenged his father. The current pharaoh has nothing to do with Horus. As he said those words, Set headed for the stone palace. My god. Oh, wow. He actually feels some powerful emotions hearing the name Horus. So that means that this moment actually is engraved in this man's mind. He still feels either guilty or feels big-ass resentment towards that moment in his life. That perhaps he felt like he had to, maybe he felt obligated. Maybe someone forced his hand in the matter and he was forced to kill him. Either way, that name actually is calling upon very powerful emotions. Eva and Aemon were taken aback by his words. If Minas the second wasn't the god's incarnation, as was commonly believed, then something was wrong in the palace. Not only in the palace, but in all of Egypt. Agnia was the first to follow Set, and did so with confidence. Of course, she's a queen. He heard her footsteps on the sand and gave a little chuckle. She reminded him of someone. Let's not waste any more time. We only have 3 days. What she said. Orion followed Eva. I'm sorry, but he's a god. Eva grew nervous as she approached Anubis' palace with her companions. It was impossible to predict what would happen next. Honestly, it's amazing how Orion looks like. Back in the huge hall, Eva took a deep breath. The room didn't smell of anything, just like in the darkness. It was neither hot nor cold. She heard a growl somewhere to the side and warned the others. Froze, honestly, warned the others. At this point, if they don't hear anything, I'm just gonna tell you all by reacting like this, be careful. The hunter and the mercenary also heard the sound and tensed up. Stay calm and hold still. He's guarding the home of Anubis. He? Have you already learned everything about this place? Set, you gonna do the honors or shall I? I feel like I'm shitting on Set already because I'm taking the fences of my man. Like, y'all, I feel the need that I need to shit on him, not because of anything, but because I'm so fucking attracted to him. Like, I was actually not capable to decide. I already did like the decision and then I said why I chose Aemon, but the desire I have for Set for so many fucking reasons is high, so I feel the need to actually shit on him in order like to calm down. Because technically it is true, like Set somehow made us come to Anubis Palace and the others were left where they got dumped. Like, the other states turned around. Yes, so don't make any sudden movements. We remember that animal. And then the lion entered the hall. How's it going, bitches? Renown, let's go. Y'all, Livius, goddamn, he's done. When Livius saw the two-headed lion, he stepped back in fright. Oh my god, Livius. No, honey, it's okay. Agnia and Aemon also hesitated for a moment, but quickly collected themselves. Ah, yes, you can see. However, the lion's master didn't let him attack. Y'all, Anubis really is gorgeous, I have to say. Easy, okay. I've been waiting for them. What's the matter? Alright, I mean, he is Anubis. Nephew, I am jumping out the window. If only here. Y'all, it's the eyes. You all know the eyes. Premium choice will allow you to see the story in pictures and will give you dark points. Alright. The story of Set and Anubis was complicated. Learn it in more detail. Give it to me. Ooh. Once upon a time, there were two powerful brothers, Set and Osiris. The first was a great warrior and defender of the god Ra. He was the patron of the pharaonic authority, and his cult was strong in Upper Egypt. As for Osiris, he was his pharaonic authority himself, the fourth ruler of mankind and their favorite. After all, he was the one who had brought humanity out of the privileged what? Pre-civilized, y'all. I can't read anymore. What the heck? Okay. After all, he was the one who had brought humanity out of the pre-civilized period, taught them agriculture, and shared his wisdom. He was especially revered in Lower Egypt. Goddamn. Set envied his brother for many reasons. He knew that Osiris was more loved than he was, and eventually started harboring a grudge against him. I mean, especially for those, like, we're just gonna use it as siblings because they were brothers. We aren't evil, we are 50-50. And you, as someone that does nothing in order to earn anyone's kindness and you get it, and the other person, they try everything in order, like, to have someone's favor and they don't get it. They feel some huge ass resentment towards the person that is getting it. Because we, to a specific degree, we are all selfish. Like, we all want to believe that we deserve better. And when we see someone getting something that we would like to have, we harbor resentment towards that person. Because in our eyes, no one deserves better than we do. Or, in other words, they do deserve a lot. But we deserve a lot too. And when you then always are less favored than other people around you, you grow very frustrated. You actually isolate yourself and you are slowly being filled with despair, with bitterness. And sooner or later, that bitterness and hatred, that frustration that you feel inside will take over you, and you will actually do something that you could regret. He did that by killing his brother. Bye, said Dark One. Anubis. Even Set's wife. Set's wife. Nephthys loved Osiris more. Oh, fuck no. Of course, love. Y'all, bye. Nephthys. Our name is Memphis. Or am I wrong? Like instead of an N and M? The goddess of the realm of the dead, birth and death, sought Osiris out, sought his love. Oh, fuck no. Honestly, but why kill your brother? Kill her. Honestly. I mean, I feel like I'm saying something completely. Do not murder anyone. I'm not being held responsible for that. But like, I can't when people like channel their hatred towards others when the reason that they feel that much hatred and resentment is like still standing there. Like, your brother couldn't do anything about the fact that your wife loved him. Like, you should have gotten rid of your wife. But since he never reciprocated her, see? She transformed into Isi, Osiris' wife, to spend a night with him, and so a child was born. Anubis. So, Osiris... Wow, that woman be pretty desperate though. She wanted to hit him so badly that she changed everything about herself. Like, she transformed herself into Izzy. So, wouldn't he have to hate her? Or more like hate him, Anubis? Afraid of her husband, Nephthys abandoned the baby, but Set found out, and that was the last straw. Hold the fucking phone though. How is it possible? Or is he like living variegously through the fact that he was capable like to kill this Anubis' parents? Izzy found a child and raised him as her own. Anubis later became her guardian and the ruler of the underworld, master of the West. Lust for power and anger at being betrayed clouded Set's mind. He tricked Osiris, locked him in a sarcophagus, and drowned him into the Nile. Damn! That was how he killed his own brother and destroyed the life itself, since Osiris, who was its embodiment and its source, had disappeared into oblivion. But how can they even die if they're gods? Could it be possible that he's still alive? Am I just saying shit? Set was a warrior who destroyed for the sake of creation and brought death for the greater good. That was his role, but he killed someone he had no right to kill, someone he shouldn't have killed. He should have killed the wife, the fuck? Like, it's not your brother's fault, like, his offspring, like, he was tricked. You should actually have controlled your wife. After going through many trials, Isis and Nephthys managed to find Osiris' body. Anubis wrapped it in stripes of fabric, thus creating the first mummy, and the briefly drowned pharaoh returned to life, so that Isis could conceive their son, Horus, the future leader who would be able to defeat Set and take the Egyptian throne. Alright, I don't understand anything anymore. Like, someone in the comment section can please explain to me if you understand. Like, I'm a little... there are too many names. Too many names. So, maybe you will be capable in the comment section, like, to help me, like, close a few loose ends. We have Set and his wife, and Set's brother, Osiris. Set's wife wanted to get with Osiris, but Osiris didn't give a damn and rejected her, so she turned into Isi. Isi then slept with Osiris, and their child was Anubis. Then, Set finding out, he blamed the brother, or more like transmitted the hatred he should have felt towards his wife onto his brother, and he drowned him in the Nile, killing him. Then, Isi actually found Osiris' body. Like, they put all this mummification process, and I have no idea how I'm supposed to imagine this. Like, did she have sex with a dead body? And then she got impregnated? I don't understand. And because of that, Horus came to life, the future leader who would be able to defeat Set and take the Egyptian throne. Osiris was named the god of rebirth, and later he took Anubis' place and became Khentiamentiu, master of the West, the realm of the dead. Anubis became his faithful guardian, defender of the borders, and guide of the dead to the judgment of Osiris. The cult of Set weakened and later suffered persecution. Despite the good things he had done in the past, mankind couldn't forgive him for killing life itself. Since then, Set had been considered a cruel god, and Anubis the fruit of unrequited love and betrayal. The Egyptians assumed that they were on bad terms with each other because of that, but they had no way of knowing what was really going on. And it was after Nephthys, who was also the defender of the dead, that Evetus was named. What did I say? And Meren Set, she was called the beloved of the god Set for a reason. Oh my god. Yo, that's also extremely romantic now that I think about it. Like, Set actually... Nephthys was the name that our mother gave us. Or was that the name that our father gave us? I know that we had two names. But Meren Set is the name that Set gave us. Beloved. Wow. There were many reasons to call her that, which her mother never tired of saying. That was what it said in the holy ritual texts that had been stored in the pyramids since time immemorial. And everyone believed them unquestioningly. I haven't seen you in a long time, even though we've been sending each other messages. Traveling across worlds isn't easy even for the gods. If it were, I would have also given in to temptation to leave my palace at least for a while. Oh, please come upstairs, like I have no problem showing you around. I've been building up strength to fulfill my part of the deal. And I'm grateful for how flawlessly you fulfilled it, Uncle. Uncle? You should keep your end of the bargain as well as agreed. Something happened at the gates that you should know about. What are they talking about? What kind of bargain? Oh, fuck no. You're leaving me out of this. Will your formidable companion test them? Set nodded nonchalantly toward the mortals. Yes. Oh, they cannot pass. You know the rules. Then we'll talk later. We've got things to do first. Emma went down on one knee and Agni and Livius did the same. There was no need to explain who was standing in front of them. Eva also sank slowly to her knees. Anubis' velvety voice filled up the whole space, and his speech flowed like fertile river waters during Akkad. I, the guardian and guide Anubis, son of Osiris, welcome you to my abode. Guests, before I tell you about the rules of the Western Kingdom and what lies ahead, Akir will test the truthfulness of your intentions. Huh? You won't go further than this all until you share your deepest thoughts and feelings with him. Well, we're looking for my friend. That's our main goal. But not the only one. Hidden deep inside each one of you has something you haven't shared with the others. If they're actually gonna have me break up with Amen in this episode, I'm gonna fucking murder every single one of you. I'm not talking about you in the comment section, I'm talking about the author. What will the test look like? Livius looked up at Anubis. Anubis' gaze lingered on the healer too, and for a moment he even seemed interested. The son of both worlds. Anubis allowed himself a small smile. It's pretty simple.
Each of you will tell him what other goal you have, what you're looking for in the duet, and what questions are tormenting you. If a kiss senses a threat or a blunt lie, you won't like what comes next.
That will bite your head off.
And if you don't know what answers your soul is asking for, the upcoming trials will reveal the truth.
Reveal it how at this point, if we know the answers, can we avoid these trials? No, we can't. Reveal it how? Will the trials become more difficult, longer, or will there be more of them? Eva would have loved for everything to go as quickly and smoothly as possible.
No.
Aemon looked up at the god who was standing before him and slowly rose from his knees.
I followed the will of Old Pharaoh, the messenger of the invisible god, and I'm looking for those who cursed the ancient city of Thebes. That's my goal. For the time being, it's not Amon-Ra who governs these lands, but death. People will believe that was the will of the gods such in your anger, but the disease is man-made and woven from dark magic.
This man, he's like ... Whatever you say, big guy. Shifting from paw to paw and tapping his claws on the cold floor, the lion approached Aemon and began to scrutinize him. What? Ooh, that's not all? Oh my god. Nah. Like these lions, honestly, this is actually interesting. These lions are extremely powerful then, if they're capable, like, to sniff you out.
Are you as faithful to the pharaoh as you say?
Huh?
What I dare to save you, great guardian. I follow his orders. You're not here on his orders, though, but of your own free will. How do you know if I'm being honest? I was ordered to come to Thebes and solve the problem. I guess this is what a mortal is truly afraid of, for it is the very opposite of this that they will crave most desperately. Fear is the flip side of your greatest desire.
Wow. Y'all, I'm actually gonna get this on a t-shirt. This is actually true. Fear is the opposite of your desire. Like, how can you actually fear something? Like, to put an example in here, like, even if it may be a stupid one, but it works like this in everything. Like there is this desire, you want to watch that show, but the fear of being caught by your parents is actually stopping you from fulfilling your desire. But the desire to actually watch that show is there. So it's like the flip coin. You can't have desire without fear. A different example, everyone desires to have sex with the right person, but everyone fears the first time. If you get what I mean. Like, there's always, it is the flip side, yes.
What you're afraid of will tell me what you're looking for here. You're not afraid of the pharaoh and you don't follow his orders blindly. Otherwise your desire would be to impress and appease him and take a place closer to him.
Oh, wow. Nah, I think that he came here because he wanted to protect us. Like, to make sure that we're alright.
But you didn't come to do it because of him. Have you been deceiving yourself all this time?
Oh god, like, y'all, imagine you actually breaking his heart in the last episode and then the scene goes.
Think about what brought you here. ...
Aemon hung his head, realizing that he needed a different answer. What he had said was true, but apparently Anubis was waiting for something that was hidden very deep inside him. Like, he is loyal to the pharaoh and he's following his orders, but he's not following them blindly, as in he's using his own head. Like, he's not just, okay, the pharaoh told me kill everyone, so I'm gonna kill everyone. Like, he also has his own intuition, his own morals, his own desires. And this man actually came to the duat, not because the pharaoh wanted to, but because we went there and he wanted to make sure that we're okay. He thought that he could somehow protect us here. Perhaps hidden even from himself. Yes.
Then what am I afraid of, Akka?
Ooh, he can't bring himself to say it. Dot, dot, dot. Pain? It's so interesting, though, that he can read it. He can, like, understand the line.
Then you're afraid of pain, Aemon of Memphis. This kind of pain that breaks and burns everything inside.
Love. Is that his greatest fear? Girl, honestly, like, y'all, like, if you feel comfortable enough to, like, share it with me, this is a safe space. I said my biggest fear 100 times, I think, already, because I do trust all of you. Like, if you feel comfortable enough, like, let me know in the comments. Like, of course, everyone who wouldn't be afraid of, like, feeling pain. I said my biggest fear is actually dying alone. Like, having to come to terms with the fact that the people wanted to see you on the ground, and they were right to do so because you aren't worth of anything. Like, people never appreciated you. People always were willing to walk all over you. They never respected you. No one truly loved you, which is why you ended up going through life without anyone that truly loved you. And now you ended up to this point, living a lie your entire life, and now you're on your deathbed with no one by your side. You're all alone. That's my biggest fear. That's the biggest fear ever. And this man is, like, actually petrified of pain. Like, actually having to go through pain. Everyone that allows themselves to feel something, no matter how powerful that emotion is, has something to lose. Like, if you allow yourself to be happy because of someone, then the fear would be that that person leaves your life because they bring happiness into your life. That's like that with everything. My poor epistates, I wish I could protect you from any future grief and shield you so that you will know no pain, bitterness, or troubles. I'm used to all of that, and I'm not afraid of anything. I'd rather shoulder the burden myself than see Aemon suffer. I mean, girl, you would have made him suffer in the last episode, y'all. I am still completely shocked because of what happened. God damn. Our relationship started with pain and kept going on that path. He endured everything because he wants to be with me no matter what. And that's why I had to choose him. Happens. I'm ashamed of how cowardly I was while he was struggling with himself and his fear. I'll never leave him again. Never. And we said that. This man, I mean, of course he would feel extremely ashamed as well, because he never told us that. When Aemon pursed his lips and finally spoke, no one could have guessed that. In fact, he had just resigned to his death. After all, to say those words in the presence of Anubis could lead to his demise, but the words Set had said before they walked into the palace gave him hope. The current pharaoh has nothing to do with Horus, because Aemon's true purpose concerned the pharaoh as well.
I'm here to find out who cursed Tebas, how and why. This will help me track down the secret circles of elder dark magicians and find out the details of my parents' murder. Who exactly gave the order, who needed it, and why? I want to know everything.
Wow.
And then I will destroy the elders along with all the pharaoh's power. Since they've been closely bound together for many years.
Wow, this man really, he is not afraid. Damn. Bye, Anubis, now you're telling the truth. That's so fucking funny.
Now you're telling the truth. You want to disturb a hornet's nest out of revenge for the pain they caused you.
Path of honesty, is that what you really desire? Is that what really drives you? You haven't been faithful to means number 2 for a single minute of your life, have you? Emma didn't even turn when he heard her voice.
No.
Wow. Did you go all the way from being a hunter's apprentice to the supreme epistates only for the sake of status and revenge? And not out of hatred for Sheshmu? Aemon chuckled.
You're going too far, Eva. I have a lot of reasons to do what I do.
Oh yeah? I'm a Sheshmu. Where's the stake? Hatred for the pharaoh's power is clearly one of them. After all, even in Amon's nightmare, Saemon referred to it as he killed his parents.
And all the pharaoh is sacred. Nesuti biti Bera, the right hand of Amun-Ra. But you asked for honesty, Guardian, and I gave it to you.
Nesut Biti is the royal title of the pharaoh in ancient Egypt, and Per-A is also one of his titles, meaning great house. Okay, alright. Aemon not taking any bullshit this episode, y'all. Goddamn. I heard that they will have a season 4 for Song of the Crimson Nile. And I really do not want Song of the Crimson Nile to end, y'all. I really don't. Like, I'm a person that get extremely attached to stories and then I hate when they leave.
If you decide I'm a threat, I'm ready to accept any punishment. But the real threat is there, in Memphis.
Aemon was serious, Set stood aside, lazily leaning against the pillar, his legs crossed.
You don't need to be nervous, Hunter. You did what I asked you to do. That's enough.
Anubis looked at Agnia, who had also gotten to her feet. She realized that it was her turn. Sorry. The lines. I'm here to find the one who cursed Thebes and killed them. This is an order from the people who hired me for this job. Ooh, they're also extremely mad. I'm not finished. As soon as she saw the lion's reaction, Agnia decided not to delay the inevitable any longer and boldly told him the whole truth. I wanted to walk through the duat not only to find out who was the source of the disease, but also to see the afterlife with my own eyes. The afterlife? I want to see the scariest and worst monsters and all the lost people. I want to go through places that others only see in their nightmares. Wow. Why, girl? Like, Aemon and Agnia had nothing to do with Pharaoh Menes, so she wasn't afraid to say too much. Yeah, but why, girl? Why would you want to see the darkest parts? Curiosity?
You speak the truth, because your greatest fear is to feel fear itself. To be afraid under someone else's control, locked in one place.
Honestly, who would want to be controlled, manipulated, never having a free will?
You're being afraid and having to obey people.
Amen, sis.
You dream of becoming fearless and independent.
Bitch, but you are. You are independent. In my eyes, I don't think anyone can ever be fearless because we have been born to feel like humans feel. And if you don't turn into a carcass, into a living carcass, then you will always have something to lose. Because the second you actually allow one single feeling to set in, every single other feeling immediately follows. And the second you feel, you have something to lose. Anubis is right. Agnia tries to be the bravest and travels alone to different lands so as not to settle anywhere, so as not to fall in love. Maybe deep inside she's truly scared and this fear only drives her forward toward adventure and danger. Oh, Agnia. I mean, the bigger the fear, the more you feel the need to actually prove the people that wanted to see you on the ground wrong. Like, she is actually so fucking petrified. I feel like she's this one filled with the most fear out of every single one of us. So the more fear she feels, the more she feels the need to actually head first into adventures, because the more awful things you see, the more you have the feeling that your fear will subside, because the more you see, the more you numb down. I did tell you all that you become more numb the more awful things happen to you, but with fear it's different. You will never be completely fearless. Is there anyone who likes being afraid? Agnia, amen, sis. She immediately smiles, putting on a mask. It's her armor. Yes? When Anubis looked at Livius, a mysterious smile touched his lips again. The healer realized that it was his turn and also got to his feet.
Now you, child of the sun.
Woohoo!
I'm looking for the source of the disease to rid Upper Egypt of it.
Livius knew that there was no point in keeping things back or lying. Eamon and Agnia had already tried to do that, and both had failed. Therefore he continued,
I want to see Ugar's Thebes and find out if this person is connected with my mentor.
Livius already knew from the murdered attacker that Seaman was most likely to be the assistant to his mentor, the main pharaoh's healer. But that wasn't enough. What did Seaman have to do with the curse of Thebes? What did he want from Livius, and how did he manage to hide from Set? Had Eastman seen him on the night of the death? And what had the Sheshmu been doing at that moment? What? What the heck is going on?
You're very clever, aren't you? Keep going, then. That's all. My goal is to find a cure for the disease and find out if my mentor is involved in shady dealings under the pharaoh.
Sorry.
That's your fear.
What is it? Oh my god. Like, honestly, but everyone, finding out. This is kind of like a bonding session. You are actually being stripped of your armor in this realm. Like, honestly, imagine you being there with your biggest fiend. Like, your biggest enemy standing next to you. And that lion is actually forcing you to reveal the most vulnerable side to you. Your biggest fear. God damn.
To be all alone.
Livius, come over here, baby. Oh, get over here. Let me hug you. Goddamn.
To be all alone. Fear of blood. Blood that binds you to your family. I voluntarily gave up their own child. I wanted to kill him. And so you meant to become your own family. How ironic and sad.
Livius! In a way, it was similar to the story of Anubis himself, whom Nephthys had thrown into a swamp out of fear of Set. Poor Livius. He saw it going in kind, but in fact he had been lonely for so long, poring over his pipiri because he's used to being on his own. Me too. Now he has me, though. He can't think of me as a sister. I'm your family, baby. You got me. You got me forever. Until death do us apart. This has nothing to do with getting married for romantic love. It's you and me till death do us apart. I'll never do what his parents did. I won't ever abandon or betray him. This actually just shows how pure-hearted Eva is, though. If we imagine the beginning, how confident she was never actually allowing herself to open up to any sort of emotion, always having her head on her shoulders, everything. And then after beautiful Eastman died and was murdered, you could see how more vulnerable she became over the episodes. The healer shrugged his shoulders.
Yes, I'm afraid of losing the man who raised me. Isn't that normal? What's normal? All fears are valid. Yours too, Evitus.
Evitus was the other name. Eva felt really awkward when her turn came. She was no longer afraid of Akka, but the same couldn't be said for telling the honest truth. She wasn't used to it. I'm afraid of having no money. The fuck? I'm afraid of death. I don't want to die. Am I scared of death? Partially I also am, but I'm afraid of dreams. No, honestly, I did just say what my biggest fear is. I'm afraid of being alone. Like when I was a child, when I had nothing and no one left apart from my best friend. But he died recently, and my main fear has come true.
That's not your main fear. It's not a lie, but you're hiding your true fear behind a half-truth. And you're actually trying to be as honest as you can. You're afraid of all this, but there's something that inspires true horror in you. Something you cannot endure.
Oh god, amen. Yeah, that happens the second you let someone in, y'all. Akka.
Yes, I could sense it. A thick, vicious fear. You've been drowning in it for so long that it has become your normality.
Not even Set knows. But damn, the way Set came zooming, he did not give a damn about the fear of the others. When it comes to us, what is her fear? I want to know.
What is her fear?
The question was about the purpose of our visit, not about fear. And everyone knows that my goal is to find my friend. We're wasting our time focusing on me. Technically, you can't really surpass anything. Like, Anubis actually has Eastman, girl. If you don't do what this man says, you're not getting him. That's how things go, sadly.
We're not. It's part of the test.
Maybe then we should find out what you're afraid of, Master. Ooh. She's like, you want to find out what I'm afraid of? Let's find out what you're afraid of. You're also here.
Nothing. Sorry to disappoint you, little Sheshmu.
That's a lie. Then let's talk about Livius, great guardian. You called him child of the sun, didn't you? He was glowing in the darkness. I cleverly dodged the question. I mean, you did, yes, but they want to know your fear. Like, everyone had to reveal their fear. Like, you're not gonna actually dodge that one.
And I was the only one who wasn't thirsty.
What's the reason for it? You called him the son of both. Son. Question mark. Anubis replied before Eva could finish her sentence, as if interrupting her on purpose, almost urgently. As if Livius is not supposed to find out, and why the fuck is that?
This is what he'll be facing during his test. Don't rush, I will explain, but first.
Anubis spread his arms in a welcoming gesture.
Welcome. I got to know you, and I found out everyone's true intentions. The doors of my abode are open to those who are honest. Follow me. I'll show you everything.
Anubis turned toward one of the spacious corridors.
I'll wait for you here, nephew. We'll talk more about our deal.
The heck is going on? They walked along a long dark corridor decorated with massive smooth columns and glowing blue stones. They were surrounded by many doors, all closed. Anubis soon stopped, and only when his footsteps had faded they noticed how quiet the palace was. There were no sounds, movements, smells, or traces of other inhabitants of the palace. It was completely empty.
Right now we're in the main part of my abode. The rest of it is in the territory of the Duat.
What does that mean?
Is the palace the afterlife? Is there nothing outside? Yes, and you'll go through your trials here. I will explain it in detail later, after you've taken a test.
A rest? What?
You'll need all your strength.
Anubis pointed to several doors along the wall.
You can go to your rooms.
Your rooms?
Take a warm bath and change. I suppose you're uncomfortable in your wet clothes and tired after wandering in the darkness.
He returned to the great hall to sit. Finally, they were alone. Orion approached Eva, gently nuzzled her leg, asking for affection. Orion! Although the dog looked completely different than in the world of the living, he remained himself. I love Orion. She leaned over, scratched him behind the ear, and Orion licked her hand contentedly. I hope he'll be with me during the trials.
It seems that you and Eastman had no idea what you were adopting.
It was all his doing. I'm ashamed to admit it, but I was against it.
He protected you without even knowing it.
That's right. He did that more than once. The episode was the first to share his thoughts.
There's something wrong here. The test, probing for her deepest fears in his eyes. There's nothing like we imagined.
Are you worried? Eamon shook his head, looking at the decor of the palace.
Said so we need to be generous. Those were his words. We'll have to give something away. Pay for Eva's way to her friend. He stressed that otherwise we could all die. Anubis didn't mention it on purpose.
Agnia stretched, looking at the wet clothes plastered at her body with annoyance.
He said we can even wash up. The conditions are nicer than I expected.
So this is what your guardian of the duet looks like.
Did you feel his, I don't know, serenity? An inhuman calmness, even if he tells us about a immediate death. I'll accept it. His job is to calm the souls of the dead and lead them through his abode directly to the judgment. Maybe every god evokes special feelings.
Yes. For instance, Set always creates some kind of tension, and in his presence your blood begins to boil. Now it's clear why my heck didn't affect him. A whole barrel wouldn't be enough for someone like him. The apostate raised his head and his eyes rested on Eva.
You know he was a god, and yet you didn't say anything.
I don't think it was my place. Should have I explained? What the heck? Should I have explained everything all at once?
I've asked you about him more than once. What's the matter? Did he intimidate you? Or is there another reason? I want to believe you, Neferet, and hear the truth.
I was honest, Aemon, and I always warned you to be careful around him. I was hoping you could figure out who he was on your own. That scares me. I didn't want to make him angry by giving away the secrets you chose to keep quiet about. But you and Livius figured it out by yourselves, didn't you? Only Livius understood that he shouldn't ask me directly because he would have only got me in trouble.
You could have told us everything and asked us to keep it a secret.
This bitch is a menace. Again, I fucking love Set. Again, I was debating for many, many days because I couldn't decide. But again, he's a menace. If he tells you to shut it, he says you to shut it. He does not give any second chances. And you could have... Okay, hold up.
That's enough. We'll talk more about it when I come to see you in a while.
The fuck? What is that supposed to mean, sweetheart? You're gonna punish me later? Oh, fuck no. Don't make me regret for choosing you. Huh? Come to see me? The question mark. This woman thinks he's going to spank her later in a sexual way. Girl. Whatever you say, apostates. And yet, what does child of the sun mean? Are you unusual too, Livius? Eva remembered what else Anubis called Livius, and it gave her an idea. He is the son of both lands. He is, but he told us to shut up about it. He is the son of both lands. Even though I don't quite understand why we're supposed to tell him that, because Anubis did just stop us from telling him, but fine by me. ... Livius, who used to live with the pharaoh, and Aemon, who served him and knew all the rules and traditions of this country, raised their eyebrow. What? What makes you think so? Son of what? That's what Anubis called you. Or rather, he said that one of you knew who should do what. At first, I didn't understand who he was talking about. When I found you in the darkness, Livius...
You were giving clear instructions to everyone, and glowing like the sun.
Because he is the sun. At least he's the shining sun in my world. I don't know how you all feel about Livius. You can say whatever you want about him, but he is a king. He is such a good person. He has his heart on his sleeve. And yes, of course, he has a bitch-ass attitude, but that's like his defensive mechanism, just like what I do. And when he lets you in, he will die for you. And that's what really should count in my eyes. So he is a king, we all stand. I didn't really know what to do. I had just seen it in a dream before, and I decided to trust myself. Suddenly everything clicked into place in Eva's head. And she said, almost surprised, and you remembered me in someone else's dream. Your dreams, Livius, they have a special meaning. But how? Even the pendant you gave me. Do you have it with you? Your son? Yes. The way you glowed in the darkness, your unique ability which doesn't let you forget Set, and the fact that you weren't thirsty at the gates. Y'all, I don't understand where this is going, but continue doing so. Ooh! Ooh! I'm sorry, but that's just a thought of mine. I mean, we do know he is like the son of both lands, so that means he belongs to the world of the living and the world of the dead. But considering that no one actually knew where he came from and everything, like how that is even possible, could it be that he's a distant descendant of Anubis and Set? Like they feel at ease in their realm, and their real form comes to life in the realm of the dead. Livius had one form in the world of the living and a different form, as in he was glowing in the world of the dead.
Livius belongs to the Pharaoh's dynasty.
I am weak. Eva was taken aback by her own train of thoughts. After all, the son of both lands is a royal title. Anubis wouldn't have called him that for no reason, right? The son of Lower and Upper Egypt, their ruler.
Child of the sun proves this as well. The Pharaoh represents the sun as the hand of Ra on the land of the living and the ruler of mankind.
The episodes turn to Livy.
You never knew your parents, did you, Hila?
My mentor. He said they wanted to get rid of me. That's why he took me to Bella. Is he the son of Menes the Second? So I was right with my train of thoughts. He's a distant descendant. Eva looked questioningly at Aemon, who might have known the answer. After all, he had met with the ruling pharaoh many times and knew him well. Wait, are you seriously suggesting that Livius could be an heir to the rule of Egypt? As he should.
I don't think he's the Pharaoh's son. Menes the Second assured the people that he's the last surviving blood heir of the overthrown dynasty after Macedonia's conquest of Egypt. That's the only reason he was accepted, and he sent all his sons to different septets, or rather nomes, as they're now called.
A septet was a traditional territorial division in ancient Egypt, usually a large city or a large territory with its own ruler, a nomarch. But with the arrival of Macedonia to those lands, they became known as nomes. Egypt consisted of many nomes, which had their own government and reported to the pharaoh.
Menes II kept them away from the capital, afraid of being overthrown, and he uses his daughters as bargaining chips, sealing advantageous alliance with marriages. I don't think you're his son, Livius, but you definitely pose a threat to him, so it wasn't your parents who wanted to get rid of you, but most likely Menes II himself.
That don't matter. This man is the ruler. He is the rightful ruler to the throne of Egypt. He is royalty. Goddamn. As he should. Again. As he should. Honestly, I don't see Aemon as a ruler, as a king. Because I feel like this man doesn't feel like being cooped up inside and actually just sitting down having other people do his bidding. And no, I'm not saying that Livius is, but this man actually has like this calm mindset. No matter how awful his life has been, this man never allows this like to darken his soul. He always wants to believe in the positive side to things, and Aemon allowed his soul to be darkened. So I feel that this man's strength lie more in like combat and like protecting the people he cares about and like allowing his anger to fuel him and to fuel the desire to want to keep awful things from happening. Meanwhile, Livius is like the ruler. He's capable to have his act together, keep a level head, and then he's capable to say how things should be done in order to assure someone's victory. We love this for us.
I think you're related by blood to the previous pharaoh, and your mother probably his concubine. It's likely that you meant to don't save her.
Silence settled over the corridor as expected in that place. Olivius! They be bombarding him with the truth like bomb drops. Goddamn. Livia shook his head as if he wanted to shake off his painful thoughts. Like poor him, like imagine that your parents were murdered trying to save you, and you have been trying to tell yourself the entire time that your parents actually just wanted to get rid of you. And you tried to keep that in mind and only saw like your mentor as a living parent to you. But instead, maybe your parents even died trying to protect you from Minister Second's wrath. Goddamn. But I lived by the Pharaoh's side for years. Should I believe that he doesn't even know who I am?
Maybe he doesn't know, or maybe he sent you to Thebes for a reason.
It wasn't Minister Second who sent him, but his mentor. Maybe that was an attempt to protect him from the pharaoh, putting him in the middle of the disease. After all, his mentor made sure that Livius couldn't get sick. Or did his mentor really want him to find a cure for the disease and earn the pharaoh's favor? Yeah, you see, with power-crazy bitches, you don't really are capable to actually struck a deal with them. If they view you as a threat, you are dead to them. As in, dead. They will find reasons to kill you. So it doesn't really matter if he wanted to do something or if he didn't want to do something. Like, I don't think that his mentor would have wanted him to be murdered in cold blood. I think he actually sent him away in order to protect him because maybe the pharaoh started like to notice some kind of similarities. And in order like to protect Livius from the possible outcome of this maniac's grasp, his mentor sent Livius away. Out of sight, out of mind, sort of. Renown. Agnia put her hand on the healer's shoulder and squeezed it gently. Me, you guessed Livius' background before his trial. This will affect the plot. A lot of troubling news have been dumped on you, my friend. Agnia, what do we say? Like, this is a group. This actually gives me the vibes of the MC. I forgot her name. Like, I just kept on calling her the name that I gave her. But you will know in a second. The MC, Addie, Sammy, and Mimi. This is the group dynamic that these four are giving me. It looks like you're about to see and go through a lot during your test. There's a reason the Guardian saved it for last.
And we'll have to pay for the truth that each of us is looking for.
Even remembered the words of the attacker Agnia had killed. Saman's influence reaches as far as the pharaohs. He must definitely be the same person you saw in the palace. There's no point guessing any further. He's the person who assists your mentor. No, I don't want to believe it. Oh, Livius. Livius' mentor sends him to work in Thebes, and soon after Samon comes to capture him rather than kill him. What's going on? Samon is looking for you. Perhaps he knows about your background. My head is going to burst. Me.
We better go to our rooms and get some rest. We're all on edge.
Agnia covered her face with her hands.
Let's things take their natural course. This is beyond our control.
Agnia disappeared behind one of the doors. Livius followed her example. What? You can leave too. Now I'm pissed with him. Eamon cast a glance at Eva and also left. She couldn't wait to see him again. Really? Again, no fucking backbone. I mean, a lot of you told me that in the comment section, and I get part of where you're coming from. But in my eyes, sooner or later, every single character will clash, because you can't always be one opinion with your partner. And considering the fact that our character has a very strong character, I'm just gonna call it bitch ass attitude, so does Eamon and so does Set. Like, they will always clash in some way. I'm just adding my opinion to it all. But that doesn't mean just because I'm dumping shit on Eamon once in a while or on Set that I then hate them. I will actually let you know when I hate someone. Like, I'm doing it every single episode with Dimitri in Heaven's Secret Requiem. This man is not escaping my hatred. Like, the author be trying. There was only one door left, which Eva entered. I don't understand what's going on, though. Eva looked around her new room. What an honor. It looked like the rest of the palace, dark, spacious, illuminated with blue lights. Except for one detail. Wow, the gods really care about animals. Orion. I'm sorry, I think it's so cute. A luxurious place had been prepared next to the bed, perfect for a dog. Orion immediately settled in, didn't even sniff anything, as if everything was already familiar. He was ready to guard Eva in her sleep too. Aw, such a small but important detail. And in my room, did Anubis know which one I'd choose? Eva looked out the window. She could only make out the outlines of the palace. Everything else was only darkness, solid and oppressive. Eva felt very uncomfortable at the thought that she was literally nowhere, and she wasn't going to be able to escape at first opportunity or jump into the lake and emerge from it alive again. Damn. It was good in a way. She was learning to accept the consequences of her decisions. Since Eva had decided to risk everything for the sake of finding the truth, she needed to understand that those weren't just words. She was truly putting her life on the line. I mean, again, like there's a reason why I prefer Song of the Crimson Nile over a lot of other stories. And I did put my category in which category I prefer the stories that I've played so far. If you want, I'm actually gonna put it up on my channel, and you can tell me what category you prefer, like what your favorite story is and who your favorite love interest in that story is. I always consider two categories, okay? Like first, the love interests / or character, and the storyline. There's a lot in Heaven's Secret 2 that I loved like crazy over Heaven's Secret, like Heaven's Secret 1. The second that Malbonte came into the scene, everything changed. Everything was beautiful. Even though technically they kept on hinting at the fact how powerful Malbonte is and everything. But I was just happy in Heaven's Secret Season 3. Because he was there, we had a connection, and it was beautiful. Heaven's Secret 2, like with the horsemen, then the power that they possessed, then every single one that we loved being on the dark side, like on the horseman's side, and we are like trying to fend for ourselves, and we are slowly seeing that seeing us struggle is actually making all of those boys de manor crumble. Then the new hybrids coming our way. In love. Then Song of the Crimson Nile. I love our MC. She actually gives a lot of sassy vibes like the MC from Kali Call of Darkness. Like, she is sassy, she can hold her own, but she's also showing that she can be extremely vulnerable, like just every other human being. Like, not everyone will be capable to actually be capable to defend themselves. Not everyone is capable to hold their own immediately. We all are human beings. We all need to learn those things. And characters like Eva, for example, she already can hold her own. It's the pain that guided her up until this point. Now she's slowly like gaining her confidence by letting go of her past trauma, and she's healing from that. And she's taking the what she learned from those awful experiences, and she's slowly letting go of the pain connecting to those awful moments in her life. So she's growing into her person, and we like get to see this. The background of this actually being a disease, and we're like trying to find out what happened. Like, I could care less about that, truth be told. What I like about the story is the story with the dark magicians. We are being hunted for millennia. Amen, or fine-ass man coming into the scene. He's a Sheshmu hunter, even though he's a hypocrite because he's one himself. He is special, and his parents were murdered because of the fact that they were Sheshmu. yet they die protecting him. So he feels the need to actually massacre everyone, having the feeling that everyone is the same. So, we falling in love with our worst enemy, yet we get to see like these small differences in his personality than other people like get to see. Like he is soft for us, he's soft only with us. And honestly, I actually sometimes don't really see it, but when I like saw us breaking this man's heart and then his reaction, like he really grew extremely fond of us. He's very soft with us than when we first met him. And he's a great protector. Then we have Livius, our best friend. He was ready to like help Eastman, our brother, that was there with us with our childhood. Since our childhood, he was ready to teach this man. And we actually had to see this man die. Then Livius, being a cutie pie he slowly started to grow fond of us because he saw the pain we were in and he knew what it felt like to lose someone that you truly care about. So it's kind of like he took us in, looked after us, and he was willing to sacrifice it all for us. We grew into a family. Agnia being the queen she is, she also willing to actually massacre people, but she has a soft core. Like, it's the characters and the story and the background of it that makes me love a story a lot. Then And the Haze will take us, like, partially the story terrifies me to death, but on the other side, the Kyoshe storyline, goddamn. There is a haze next to a village, and that village actually is striping all the humans that it takes in of everything that makes them remotely human, turning them into lifeless puppets. And when the haze seeks blood, it lets out everyone that it devoured, and they are supposed to create more chaos, and they're supposed to drag more humans into the haze. Like this storyline, there are zombies. You're fighting for your lives, you can't escape, and you have to commit sacrifices in order to please the gods, or in order to like get their blessings, or you could be capable to control those lifeless zombies, like actually create who the haze takes in, perhaps. The storyline, that's what it does to me. Now, on the other hand, I've been through so much already. Being in the duet doesn't even seem strange. I've been waiting for this for a long time. She looked in the mirror and appreciated how generous Set had been when dressing her up for Anubis. He treated me as a thing. I like to be able to be more blunt and confront him, but I can only dream of that. And that's only if he's not standing next to me. Ra forbid he'll read my thoughts. Even noticed a chest inlaid with sparkling stones. Her curiosity piqued. She looked inside. Fabrics, jewelry. Can I change my clothes? How nice. She went through the contents. I'm weak, actually. Nice one. Anubis guest. Lady of the duet. Of course. Of course. Honestly, though, this is a fucking treat, though. Are we seeing this? Let us be the fucking lady of the duet. She twirled around, noticing how comfortable her outfit was and nodded in satisfaction. Eamon entered the room slowly, as if giving her the time to notice him. Son, imagine if I was still undressing. I mean, he did see us, but still. Can't send. He should have knocked. Ooh! Not me simping already. Ooh! Sorry. Hello. The episodes looked around.
You've been given a nice room. It's probably the best place you've ever seen, right?
Yes, it's more spacious than most houses in Hermopolis. Well, happens. Eamon slowly approached the bed and sat down on the edge. When his bright gaze so dear fell on Eva again, she beamed. I'm so glad that we can be next to each other right now.
Eva.
Yes?
Why didn't you want to say what you're afraid of? What's troubling you? Anubis' words haunt me.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, what did I say? A bitch! He really has difficult times in expressing himself. That's the same problem that Malbonte had. And apparently I just love analyzing people so much. Like, it's frustrating, but on the other side, it's great then to see that they are willing to do whatever it takes in order, like, to show them. Like, the second that someone's interest reaches its peak, sooner or later, words will always come to the surface. Because, like, your feelings become stronger. And sooner or later, those feelings will be so strong that you won't be capable, like, not to say how much someone makes you, feel alive. And this man actually, he felt the need to bitch at us, like back in the day before we went to the duel. Because he was upset that this man actually forced us to say our fear and we were incapable to say it. And now he wants us to actually confide in him. I like this difference in his attitude. Because it's not like him actually saying, yeah, you're gonna tell me everything that you know about Set. Back in the day, I already said my piece about that. I thought he was being way too pushy, considering it was about trauma. But here, he's actually like, what's troubling you? Like, his words haunt me. Why didn't you want to say what you're afraid of? Is it that difficult for you to talk about it? Does it still haunt you? He's showing concern. Every woman is full of secrets. Every woman? Everyone has their own secrets, of course, but... you don't know everything. Yeah, you don't. There are things I want to keep quiet about for as long as possible.
Your words definitely won't set my heart at ease.
What I'm talking about is just unpleasant and dirty pieces of my past. There is nothing there that would be of any interest or that would pose any kind of danger to you. Not her saying it's not going to impose any danger on you, don't worry. As if this man is still trying to figure her out. Oh, look at his face, what is wrong?
It bothers me that there's something that scares you so much that you never talk about it and don't even want to tell me.
He's concerned for us. He's concerned for our safety. This actually reminds me of the Eamon we knew when he saw us actually breaking down, seeing Eastman's dead body. That was the first moment where I truly had feelings for Eamon. It showed the truth of his nature. You probably have something like that too. For instance, your parents' death. Both Set and Anubis mentioned it. Eva swallowed nervously, trying to get him to talk. Maybe he was going to tell her about it, and then she wouldn't have to pretend she didn't know anything. Or maybe she would find the right moment to confess everything. Eamon's face gradually lost its color until it looked like a blank by penis. The usual impenetrable mask. He was shutting her out.
Alright, we won't talk about this.
He's so reluctant to talk about it that he ended this conversation. What happened to him? I only know part of his dream, but surely there has to be more to it. I mean, at this point, if we actually would tell him that we saw part of his dream, he knows we're Sheshmu now. And honestly, I don't think he can be more upset at us. Can he? Eva looked down frustrated. Some kind of pain tormented Eamon, and he couldn't let go of what had happened in his childhood, and yet he was choosing to keep everything to himself. Ladies and gentlemen, I love how Eva played this right now. You tell me about what worries you the most. I talk to you about what worries me the most. This is like actually confiding, and that also will like make each other grow closer. If you can talk about it, then that means you don't trust me enough to let me in. Then I can talk about it either. Because if I tell you everything and I lay myself bare in front of you and you can't do the same, then it's not worth it. But then she was doing exactly the same. How could you blame him? I mean, to a specific degree, again, I agree. But he has been kind of, I'm not going to say forcing her, but he has kind of expected her to always explain what was happening, because that's like his bitch-ass attitude. He's used to actually commanding people, and he never probably had like a romantic relationship, always immersing himself in his revenge and in work and his duties. So this man doesn't know any other way. This is like a different approach that he's trying. Like, he is changing, and I'm seeing it too. You can't blame on him for not talking right now. But you can't blame her either. Seeing the pile of things by the chest, the episode spoke casually.
Everything here seems to be the wrong way around. In the world of the living, you loiter about life for the moment. But in the dude, you're the most knowledgeable, and you'll sleep in more lavish bedrooms than any Egyptian noblewoman.
Are you unhappy about it?
I'm unhappy about the fact that it's just here in another world. I would like you to live like this in reality. I would like you to do what you want, eat as much as you want, and walk around your house as if it were a big garden.
Not this man actually saying, I want you to have everything you want out of life. I dreamed of earning money to afford something like this, but I guess it's not meant to be. I don't think you would approve of me accepting big commissions and saving up for my own house with the help of dark magic. Eva smiled awkwardly, attempting a joke, and Eamon arched an eyebrow.
Oh, that's out of the question.
Oh, is that how things are? She approached him cautiously. Honestly, are you forbidding me? Who are you? Eamon caught her hand as he still sat on the bed. In that position, when Eva was standing next to him, their eyes were almost at the same level.
First of all, it's dangerous. You have no idea how many dark magicians die every day, especially in the capital. Second, you don't have to work. I have enough gold to give you the life you dream of.
This man planning for the long way. I love him. Eva smiled, but it was a bitter smile. Do you want me to live with you? Or will you buy me a house, dress me in expensive clothes, and make me do some weaving while I'm waiting for you to come home from work? Ooh. Honestly, this is like a nice thing that they've actually placed in here. Is this your way of saying that I'm a porcelain doll that can't do shit, that actually just needs to be cooped up inside of a house, and you need to do the heavy lifting? I'm not capable enough? Or what else do kept women in the capital do in their free time? Draw, maybe? Eamon raised her hand to his lips without taking his eyes off her.
Eva, weaving. Never. You can't even handle a reed pen and papyrus, and you're thinking of drawing and weaving.
Lisbeth, do I have to become the most skilled scribe in the world to make him stop laughing at me? Nah, he's teasing you, girl. It's not laughing at you. Noticing her indignation, he pressed his lips to her delicate skin, brushing them across her slender wrist.
I don't want you to wait for me in some house. It will be our house.
Period. And he put a ring on it. He put a fucking ring on it. Love this for us. He said, yes, we may fight each other, but this is like our dynamic. Like, you make me crazy.
You won't have to do anything bad to live well. Just promise me you'll give up your occupation and I'll take care of the rest.
I mean, but it is part of our life, like being a sheshmu. But of course, we don't have to take upon commissions. But he can't actually forbid us to use our powers. It's part of who we are. Eva slowly sat down on his lap, watching in fascination as Eamon kissed each one of her fingers, waiting for a response. Not this man actually trying to subtly push her to be like, fine, the desire's taking over me, so I'm just gonna say whatever you want. No, I'd like to promise you.
I know you too well to take that as a yes. If there is a but coming, you'd better swallow it back and just agree.
No. I like dark magic, Amen. I like learning, practicing, helping people. I don't want to be idle, even if I'm rich. You're going to work, lead the hunters. And what about me?
There are thousands of other things you could do.
For example, not what I want. What did I just tell you? You need to accept this. Like, if you truly love me, then you have to accept things as they are. If you don't, then that's it. That's what I keep on trying to tell everyone. I don't need to change myself in order to please you. If you truly love me, you fell in love with me for a reason. Now, all of a sudden, when we actually confirmed that we have feelings for each other, you try to find ways in order to change me into, like, someone that you truly like, in my potential maybe. You need to fall in love with me for who I am in the present. And then love me maybe even more when you see the true potential of my whole being. You can't expect me to drop everything just because you said so. That's not how things work. For example, Emma was staring somewhere ahead as if he was picturing what he wanted to say.
For example, no, let's not.
No, let's not, because you don't have anything to say. What were you going to say?
We'll talk about the future some other time. The main thing is that you'll be my side.
He kept something to himself again. Invisible God. Is he trying to test my patience? Yes, he is. Amen. Don't tease me.
Tease you? How?
By keeping things from me. He squeezed her waist, gently pulling her closer. Surprisingly, the apostate seemed to know every inch of her body by heart. What it felt like to hug her, kiss her, hold her in his arms.
There's rage coming from you.
My apologies, master. I was just trying what it took to survive. Eva wanted to protest, to pressure him, but choked on her words as Eamon nuzzled her neck. Then he opened his mouth slightly. His teeth gently grazed her skin, causing a delicious thrill of pleasure. Eva barely stopped herself from arcing her back. You're biting me? Eamon put his other hand on Eva's thigh, caressing it first from the outside, then brushing the inside. She felt him plant a hungry kiss on her neck, long and deep, grazing her skin with his teeth. He was breathing slowly and heavily, his fingers squeezing her close tightly.
That's it, we've gone too far. There'll be trouble if you don't get off me.
Amen. I keep thinking of that shore when you found me. I keep thinking about what could have happened. He whispered softly in her ear.
And?
I want it so much. Is she actually willing to give her complete self to him right now?
I know, and I'm waiting for when you'll be ready.
Eva plucked up the courage, slightly pulling away from him, and asked in a low voice, Maybe you don't have to wait?
Do you think so?
Do I actually want to have sex right now in the world of the dead? Creating life in the world of the dead, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, what a funny contest. Eamon admired the bashful expression on Eva's face, her wide eyes trying to hide her burning desire, and the way in which she was biting her lip. She shifted awkwardly, feeling like putty in his hands.
You're testing me. Think carefully about whether you're ready. I don't know if we'll be able to stop once we begin.
Eamon slowly got to his feet, seating Eva down on the bed. She looked at him in confusion as he turned to leave. At such a moment... Hey, he is being a gentleman right now. He says, I know myself. If I don't leave right now, if I don't have a cold shower or something, I'm gonna regret it. Is his plan to torment me so that I either throw myself at him or get all flustered? At this point, girl, he's just respecting your wishes. And he doesn't want you to have the feeling that he's kind of like only looking for that in you. You told him that you had problems with intimacy because of what happened in your childhood. And he wants you to give you the time in order for you to actually sort out all those negative feelings and remain by your side until you are ready. That's a commendable step from him. I mean, of course, but when you are in it and the feelings are there, of course you would be like this. But maybe she will be feeling fine, and then the second it comes like to actually sleeping with one another, she will back out again because there is still this trauma. She actually needs to settle out like those problems. And maybe, at least that's what I would actually commend, that Eva and Eamon actually like have a talk about this before they actually think about having sex for the first time. Like, he knows partially why she's petrified, but actually, like, trying to explain what actually is going through her head the second that intimacy, like, is being displaced in front of her. So that maybe he can understand why she gets all traumatized when the moment arises.
I think I better go. I can think straight when you're like this.
Like what?
Whatever you're doing right now, we should get some sleep. You'd better think about what you said. I'll be thinking too.
No, he never stopped thinking. The epistates went to the door. He then spoke up one last time.
And imagining it.
Period. What did I say? Neither of you can hold back anymore. Of course not. And then he left. Eva took a deep breath, leaning back on the bed. He's fat. But she never got to enjoy the peace. Eva suddenly heard a strange noise in the corridor and, hesitating for a moment, decided to leave the room and check. What's wrong? What is all this? What is this BS? In the corridor, Eva bumped into Livia. My child! You coming to me? You heard it too? Ooh! My apologies, y'all. They look so good. And now again, just because I see Livius as family does not mean that I wouldn't actually like use a different account or something like to have the love root with this man. I'm just saying, from his behavior and everything, this man does not deserve any BS. And since I was playing, he does not deserve any playing. So he's my child, he needs to be protective, but he's fine as fuck. I did not put him on friend zone mode or anything because he's ugly or because I didn't like his attitude. He's my child, he gives off Raphael vibes. He needs to be protected.
Yes, I have no idea what it was. Something quiet, but there are hardly any sounds here, so it's strange.
She saw that Livius had already freshened up. The corridor was empty. They looked around several times but saw nothing.
Shall we have a look around the palace? I haven't heard any rules forbidding it.
Alright, I wonder what Anubis and Set are going to discuss. They clearly have made a deal with each other.
So naturally, you're determined to find out.
Livius is so not fucking having us. It concerns me, so yes.
Alright, let's go. I'll have to cover for you as usual, but don't rush, we need to talk.
I love him! Sorry, I think he's so cute.
I'd like to return to something we spoke about.
Huh? What is it?
I keep thinking about what this chart of the sun moniker could mean.
Did Anubis' words sow doubt in you?
Everything he talks about has something to do with past events. I see the looks he's given me, and I feel like I'm missing something. He didn't want to explain anything, and that only makes me feel more anxious.
Try to test your instincts. The truth will ruin your tests. Nah, honestly, who gives a fuck about the test? Like, this is about his sanity right now. Try to trust your instincts. That's what I would say. Your instincts are there for a reason. If you have the feeling something is fishy, then you trust your instincts. This is just you being cautious. You did great in the darkness. You know how to see and connect details that no one would notice, and you have special dreams. If it's possible to learn something before the test that Anubis mentioned, only you can do it.
I feel completely lost.
That's why I keep on saying it. The truth could ruin you. He already is having some feelings about this. Put yourself back together piece by piece, and one of them may be the answer. Although it's impossible to predict what will happen here. They walked slowly along the corridor, their shoulders almost touching.
But a descendant of the Pharaoh's dynasty? Seriously?
Son, you are a king for a reason. I didn't expect such a revelation either.
Invisible God, who are my parents?
We may be mistaken in our assumptions, although, to be honest, it's unlikely son of both lands is an unambiguous title. There are no other options. Crossing his arms, Livius nervously blew a lock of hair away from his face.
Great, fantastic. I don't understand a thing.
Me.
Don't worry.
Everyone here will have a hard time with their fears. It's not for nothing that Akira studied them so carefully. One thing for you, another for the epistates, and a third for Agni and me.
Set, we have to pay the way to Eastman, and something tells me there will be a final test. For you.
How encouraging. Everything will be left to me, as usual.
I'll share all the hardships with you if I can, and if I can't, then you're on your own.
He says, grinning his ass off. Nah, he family. He's the brother. Messing with us. You're so supportive, Livius of Pella. Eva tilted her head, suddenly smiled cheerfully and said, Remember our first meeting?
The one in Tiano's dream or the real one?
The real one, when we met on the west side of the Nile. Fate was already showing its hand.
We met in the west to go to the Western Kingdom together.
You seem so arrogant to me. The famous sailor, so clever with his immaculate white sleeves.
I can't see anything wrong with that. That's right, a clever healer with clean sleeves. A good combination.
Now, honestly, if we actually think back and to here, they have come a long way.
But you were quite another matter. Mean and chatty, so smug, but as soon as we entered the tomb, it was all gone.
Don't act like you weren't afraid yourself. Eva tried to elbow him in the stomach, but Livius deftly grabbed her hand, pulling her away to discourage her. Eva almost lost her balance, but grabbed Livius' shoulder in time. He said, Do you want to kill me before Simon does?
You can joke about it. The attack in the palace of the Dazzling Eight and help you accept your fate and even laugh at it.
I guess so much has happened that I stopped being afraid. Livius nodded understandingly and said,
We've been through so much together.
Me. And we'll get through this too. That's not even a question. You got me now, bitch. You're not getting rid of me. Sorry. That's what Ra brought us together for.
To walk around this palace in the duet.
To rid Thebes of the diseases and restore order in the capital.
No, you're aiming for the capital.
Aemon said that even the local authorities are in league with the elder dark magicians. If these are the same people who cursed Upper Egypt and killed my friend, they will be affected by all of this. And I don't feel sorry for them.
Our lives will never be the same again. But who would have known that the day when we fought confused and drowned men with a crocodile would lead to this? Eva, why is fate so angry with me?
Because we're special. The more special you are, the more life hates you. Take notes, bitches. She sighed but put her hand on his shoulder and patted him sympathetically. I had to tell you this, Livius, but there wouldn't have been enough problems in your life even without me. Damn! True, though. You glow in the dark, if you haven't forgotten, and this is just the beginning of the impressive list of your oddities. So don't blame this amazing twist of fate on me.
Says the woman whose eyes glow red and who's repelling monsters in the darkness.
No, I love this bonding session. At least it's just my eyes, but you're glowing all over.
It's compete to see who has more oddities.
Period.
For instance, I'm not a big fan of Egyptian Hecate.
Oh! Now that is definitely odd. I've already lost to you. After saying that out loud, how can you wonder why fate is angry with you? Bye. How can you hate the Egyptian Hecate, son? Love this for us. Livius adores you. I adore him. He my man. Like, he family. A low voice from behind made Eva and Livius freeze. I did nothing.
Strolling through the palace.
What's the matter with you now? He's fed, it's only Amen. I thought it was someone worse. Bye. Maybe the line. My problems have gotten way too big if Eamon used to be the worst of them, but now, surprisingly, I feel relieved hearing his voice. He still doesn't need to kill me.
We're not strolling. Did you hear any noise? We came out to check and find out what was the matter.
I did. I was to come out, but I didn't find anything. Instead, I heard your voices and decided to find out what kind of trouble you were getting yourself into.
Ah! Well, it's quiet in the corridor now, but it's not like we can all have imagined it.
Are you going somewhere?
Is this man jealous? Is this jealousy I'm seeing? Because if not, I'm not understanding the fact that he feels the need to be so, reflective. He feels the need to shit on us, like giving us all this venom.
To the hall, to hear what the gods are talking about.
Ah!
Can you sit still at least here?
No.
Well, Lepist.
Livius is a king. Honestly, me. Shit on him, Livius. Shit on him.
Well, besides, it will be difficult for you to order us around outside the world of the living.
I still have enough strength to take both of you by the scruff of your neck and throw you into your room.
Yo, what kind of situation? What did I tell you, y'all? It's actually giving the vibe. Like, Agnia, Livius, Aemon, and or MC are like the group from Heaven's Secret. The MC, Mimi, Sammy, and Addie. This actually feels like our dad is actually punishing his children. He's like, I still have the strength to actually drag you to your rooms. What the fuck you think you're doing? You can't even sit still here.
But you won't do that, do you know why?
Ah!
You want to come with us, don't you?
I love this so much. Team up, where's Agnia? We will be strutting in there like the silent bitches we are. Like slowly on our tiptoes.
Maybe. If it will be useful and you're not just roaming around because you're bored.
Set and Anubis have some kind of deal connected with me and probably with Samon. He won't talk about it himself, you know him. But if I can overhear something, anything...
Alright, let's go. Though I doubt anything will come out of it.
But you're coming anyway. He feels the need to make sure that we don't get caught.
I'm coming anyway.
The three of them walk down the corridor, forming a most unexpected trio. In love with this. In love with this. Meanwhile, Agnia's mind was foggy. Oh, God. What's wrong with her? She remembered walking, not knowing why and where, but something drew her inexorably forward. Not even something, but someone. Blue and red lights loomed ahead, casting a deep glare, muddling her thoughts and sapping her will. When she came to her senses, she blinked a few times and realized she was no longer in the palace of Anubis, but somewhere else entirely. What? A small room like an echo from a distant past brought mixed emotions. She stared anxiously at the familiar furniture, the view from the window she used to see every day, and the man standing in front of her. Her father, huh? Paramount of Antica towered over Agnia, frowning down at her. His eyes flashed with anger. He balled his hands into a fist and hissed, "You ungrateful little bitch." Ah? Agnia remembered that look. Her father had given her the same look when he had first hit her. The man swung and slapped her across the face so hard that Agnia fell. She landed hard in front of the mirror, looked up, and saw herself. Oh my God. What the hell? Scared, haunted, the one who used to be the most obedient and affectionate daughter in the world. Sometimes restless and loud, but still loved. She was 15 when her father hit her for the first time. The day she dared to reject her father's authority, choosing to go her own way.
God, it shall be as I say. Do you hear, Agnia?
Don't you dare refuse my command.
During the personal test, you'll play as the character who takes it. Oh my god, in love. So she's taking the first test. Beating me will get you nowhere, Father. Father, I'm sorry, hit me again, so there's nothing left of me. Beating me honestly. Like back in the day, she wasn't who she was now. So, in my eyes, beating me will get you nowhere. I won't fulfill your wish. Sorry. We're playing as her.
I won't fulfill your wish. You might as well kill me.
You think I won't? You think I'm going to let you get away with it?
This choice will affect the outcome of Agnia's test. Y'all, I'm actually intrigued. What does it mean? What kind of test are we even taking? If we are worthy of actually seeing these men? What is this? Agnia was absolutely resolute about what she didn't want to do, and that time she was unyielding.
Do you know how advantageous this alliance is? Do you know how much will change? Half of my trade is built around the plan that you will marry this man. Don't you dare resist, or I'll drag you to the wedding by your hair.
Then you marry him.
Are you really going to do this? Do you have no pity for me?
I love you, daughter, and I have invested a lot of effort, money, and this very love in you. You have to understand, I'm trying to do what's best for our family, and so should you.
Beating me over not wanting to comply with your wish, is that your idea of love? What will Lazar say?
Your brother knows that the father is always right. He'll take my place in the future and will also expect his daughters to obey him. This is normal, this is right. You'll do as I say.
Women only being traded away. How I hate the old times. Agnia swallowed, and a metallic taste spread in her mouth. There it was, the day that changed her life forever. Meanwhile, in Anubis Hall, Eva was afraid that Akka would quickly sense their presence and realize everything, but he wasn't even in the hall. She made out two male voices, which obviously belonged to Set and Anubis. Unintelligible. Aemon, Livius, and Eva were whispering in each other's ears because the hall was too quiet.
How do you plan to pull this off? You're hiding like a little girl, as if you're going to listen to your mother's conversation with her friends, and not about to interfere into God's private audience.
But you wanted to come with us, so aren't you also interested? Eva... Sneak up to the throne. If I get closer to Anubis' throne, I'll hear everything as if I'm standing there with them.
Of course. You'll be almost sitting on their laps. They'll notice you foolish Nephrit.
Honestly, I think this is so fucking funny. Aemon wanted to grab her hand and prevent her from doing something so crazy, but Eva had already walked forward. I'm such a bitch. I'm gonna die. She tried to stay behind the columns to merge with the shadows of the hall. However, both gods quickly heard her footsteps as they had superhuman hearing. I'm scared.
Eva?
That was not the best idea, you think? The problem was that Set not only heard Eva, but also sent her as his servants. Oh my goodness gracious, renown. Oh, that was so funny.
Hide behind a pillar?
I'm going to get closer to her better. You stay here.
You don't want to do that.
But Eva was already creeping toward the columns. Unfortunately, both gods heard her. Okay, so that means we just need to stay there. Oh, don't worry, I'm gonna roleplay. It's fine.
Who's there?
Your footsteps gave you away. Okay. Psst. Remain seated around the corner. I better stay here. If I get closer, they might hear me. They're not mortals after all.
But we can barely make out the words.
Maybe it'll work out somehow. If something goes wrong, come out and distract them.
What kind of plan is this?
A stupid one. A perfect one, because otherwise I'll put all the blame on you. Damn!
Have you no fear?
Set owns our ass. At this point. I'm not the only one who wants to know what they're talking about, and yet I'm the only one willing to take the risk. Okay, hold the fucking phone. Everything is extremely silent in here. Like you could actually hear a small footsteps, but we can actually hear these bitches whispering to one another. Is the story trying to kid me? This is so fucking ridiculous. Eva turned around, crouched as close as possible to the entrance to the hall, and concentrated and managed to make out the words. At first it didn't work, she only heard fragments, but the more Eva blocked out everything else, the more she could hear.
Sensed him. You're right. Right there, but was weak, looked everywhere. No one. His son tried to capture, had been killed. I think it's the blood of a descendant.
What are they talking about?
And worse, it's on his chest. They don't make any more. Well, this fury, chances are few, as well as descendants. With the current and 30 years, no one left at all. That's so long. I'll find him myself now. Of course you can. Stay off. Because he knows who for.
You've heard part of the conversation. I can barely make out the words. What kind of descendants are they talking about, and who wears what on their chest? Symbol. Eamon was the first to hear the soft click of lion claws on the shiny stone floors. He grabbed Eva by the arm, yanking her to her feet, and pushed her into the hall. Huh? With a similar gesture, the episodes grabbed Livius and pushed him after Eva. All three appeared before Anubis and Set. Hi.
We've got company.
A moment later, Akea came in slowly and gracefully. Eva realized that Eamon had followed their plan when he had heard the lion approaching and pretended that they had come to the hall to see the gods rather than eavesdropping on them.
Oh, I'm not disturbing you, Great Guardian. We're just trying to figure out where a friend disappeared. Maybe you've seen her walking around the palace.
Has Ignia really disappeared? Apparently, Akea approached his master and Anubis ran his hand over the lion's shiny fur. I mean, doesn't this lion actually... Isn't he capable to sense a liar? He stretched his lips in a smile.
Your friend hasn't disappeared. Alka sent her to her first test. You weren't expecting that.
Ignia?
To the test alone? Yes, the test of fear. It's time I explain to you how this is going to work.
Oh god. No, honestly, but actually dragging me out in the middle of the night? Are you nuts? Are you crazy, homie? But, we will see what the next episode will be like. This was interesting. Like, they are actually not having any chill for us. But we will see. I hope you enjoyed this video with me. Tell me in the comments below what you think was best, and I will see you in another video. Bye.